Oh my god!
At the beginning of the movie, we see two sisters, Jordan and Ashley, talking inside a closet. Ashley asks Jordan to describe their mother, and Jordan recalls her as the most beautiful woman who loved wearing a necklace every day, just like her. Their father interrupts angrily, demanding silence and instructing them not to think about leaving the closet. He orders them to cover their ears, which terrifies both girls. Ashley ties Jordan's hands with a string, expressing a belief that Jordan has a better chance of going to heaven than she does, so she wishes she would take her with her. Meanwhile, Jordan peeks outside and witnesses their father engaging intimately with another woman. The next morning, Jordan awakens to a female voice and realizes Ashley is missing. Worried, she searches for her and finds her in the bathroom. Ashley tells her to be quiet. Suddenly, a scary lady appears from behind, but it turns out to be the woman from the previous night. Angered by the presence of the children, she confronts and berates their dad before leaving the scene. As a result of the incident, their dad becomes extremely angry, and the movie progresses 10 years into the future. Ashley, who is now grown up, leaves with her Aunt Tanya, and Tanya asks Ashley why doesn't she come to church with her today, but Ashley refuses with the excuse of schoolwork. Later, when Ashley is alone at home, her mother's photo suddenly starts moving, and someone's reflection is visible in it. Ashley then arrives and replaces the photo with their mother's picture in one of the frames. After some time, she hears the sound of something breaking outside, and when she comes out, she thinks that perhaps Tanya might have come. She goes upstairs to check, and we see that the source of the sound was her mother's broken photo. Meanwhile, Pastor John converses with Reverend Michael, discovering that Michael was involved in demonology and exorcism. However, Michael displays no interest in delving into this topic. We then see Ashley visiting her childhood house, where she notices that someone has passed behind her. When she goes to check that side, we see a shadow of a woman in a room. As she starts ascending the stairs, her childhood friend Hannah comes there, bringing joy to Ashley, who is delighted to meet her. Now when both of them are leaving from there, we see a woman with two children at the window. Hannah brings Ashley to her house, and Ashley is surprised to find that Hannah's room is filled with intense preparations. Hannah explains that she reads a lot about angels and demons walking the earth, wanting to be ready in case anything happens. She shares the story of the movie The Exorcist, detailing how Regan used an Ouija board to invite Captain Howdy. As they talk, Hannah receives a notification, and she asks Ashley does she remember Shane Stevens, the nerdy guy. Ashley says kinda, to which Hannah tells her that he is now hot and single, and they're hanging out tonight, and she invites her to join them. Later, Tanya returns home and discovers her sister's broken photo. As she investigates further, she hears strange noises coming from upstairs. Upon reaching the upper floor, she finds a book lying on the floor. Meanwhile, Ashley arrives home with Hannah, and Tanya invites them to stay for dinner. Ashley, however, mentions they're going to the dock to hang out with some friends. Tanya advises them not to be late, considering Ashley has school the next day. They reach the dock, where their friends are already partying. Hannah introduces Ashley to everyone, and they express joy in meeting her. As the evening progresses, Hannah suggests using a new EVP app, explaining it stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon and is commonly used in ghost hunting shows. The app supposedly picks up voices and paranormal activity from the spirit world when they attempt to communicate with spirits. Ashley finds it strange, and the rest of the people also don't believe it. However, things take an eerie turn when Ashley hears her name in a ghostly voice and sees a vision of herself playing with her sister Jordan, and a mysterious woman approaches them. The sight terrifies Ashley, prompting her to scream, and she walks away saying that maybe she saw her mother. As Ashley walks through the forest, she senses a presence following her, causing unease, and when she tries to look around, she spots her mother in the distance. Her mother starts moving forward with her and calls her name, which startles Ashley, leading her to attempt to run away. Upon reaching the road when Ashley tries to look around, a ghostly figure is revealed to be behind her. Later, Tanya is doing dishes while listening to songs on earphones when she hears someone calling her name in a ghostly voice. Concerned, she goes upstairs to check on Ashley, who assures her she's just taking a bath. After Tanya leaves, a shadow moves toward Ashley and attempts to drown her in water. However, it's revealed to be a nightmare. Late at night, when Ashley goes to the washroom, she notices that someone has passed by outside. Ignoring this, she goes to the kitchen to drink water. However, she notices that the bathroom light is on. which she turns off before leaving. Strangely, the light turns on again, and a ghostly shadow appears on the wall. After this, as Ashley is sleeping, her bed suddenly starts shaking violently, but it stops as soon as she wakes up. The next day, we see Pastor John taking pictures of Ashley. Ashley goes to a store, and Pastor John follows her and introduces himself as the new pastor at Celebration, mentioning that he works extensively with youth ministry. And Tanya had shared a lot about Ashley with him, and he informs her about the exciting events planned at the church and invites her to attend. Ashley agrees, expressing interest, and she inquires about his camera, revealing her passion for photography. He mentions that the church is always looking for talented photographers for events, and just then, Hannah arrives. On the way to school, Hannah asks Ashley about last night. Ashley dismisses it, suggesting her mind might be playing tricks and that it was nothing. However, Hannah insists that it was definitely something. Only then Ashley receives a text from Shane, and Hannah tells her that she gave him her number. Later, it's revealed that Ashley was scared of seeing someone at school, and Hannah expresses concern, so she decides to come over to Ashley's house that night. Shane drops her home in his car, and during this time, Tanya attempts to call Ashley because Ashley's principal had contacted her. However, Ashley does not pick up her phone. Later that night, while Ashley is studying, she hears loud bangs at the door, and someone tries to open it. But when she goes out to check, she is shocked to find no one there. As she returns inside the house, she hears the sound of girls laughing, which unsettles her. After this, she hears some sounds from the upper floor, and when she goes upstairs to the room, she finds an open box with a Bible inside. There is also a photo in that Bible, and while she is looking at it, we see a demon in the corner. Suddenly, Hannah arrives and startles her. Ashley, feeling on edge, believes that Hannah was knocking all over the house. Hannah denies it, mentioning a smell, to which Ashley suggests that something must have died in the vent or something. Hannah then lights a candle in front of a mirror and tells Ashley that this is a way to communicate with the spirit of a specific person. She suggests they figure out if this is actually Ashley's mom trying to reach out to her. Although Ashley is hesitant, she agrees. When Hannah asks for her mother's name, Ashley says it's Sarah. Hannah explains that if Sarah reveals herself, Ashley has to acknowledge her and ask her to come back, so they can figure out what's keeping her here. They then begin the ritual, and Hannah asks Sarah if she will communicate with them. After some time, they hear a strange sound that scares both of them. Soon after, they see the reflection of a woman behind them in the mirror. Thinking it's Sarah, Ashley tries to talk to her, expressing her desire to have her back in her life. Then, the candle goes out, a demonic laugh is heard, and they see a woman in the mirror. Hannah senses that something is not right, and the woman in the reflection transforms into a demon. At that moment, Tanya enters the room, commenting on the cold temperature. She questions what they are doing, and both Ashley and Hannah run out of the room. Ashley tries to stop Hannah, but Hannah expresses uncertainty, stating that the shadow is dark, and she's not sure it is her mom. After Hannah leaves, Tanya asks Ashley what's going on and what happened at school, to which Ashley responds that she doesn't want to talk about it. Tanya, wanting to help her relieve tension, plans to watch a movie with her, mentioning that movie nights were her and Ashley's mother's favorite activities. After talking for some time, both of them fall asleep on the couch. When Tanya wakes up, she sees Reverend Michael burning in front of her. Now a flashback is shown where Sarah tells Tanya that she is pregnant. She also confides in Tanya that she hears voices in her head, compelling her to do terrible things, and she can't control it. Tanya, not fully understanding, suggests seeking medical help. Sarah asks Tanya to pray with her, and as Tanya starts praying, Sarah begins chanting something in a strange language. She then transforms into a demon and comments that she doesn't believe her. Tanya suddenly wakes up scared and tells Ashley that she must have had a nightmare. Both of them then go to sleep in their respective rooms, and when Ashley wakes up late at night, she notices a swarm of flies buzzing around the vent. She goes to investigate, and then she hears a demon's voice. To her horror, she sees herself sleeping on the bed, and the demon is approaching her. Seeing this, she gets terrified, and as demon looks at her, she wakes up scared. Later, Tanya notices that Ashley is eating very strangely, and when she was about to leave, she also notices some marks on her shoulder. Now when she comes out of the house, we see that she is wearing very revealing clothes. She meets Shane and suggests that after what happened yesterday, they could use a little adventure. Meanwhile, Tanya observes her strange behavior from home, growing increasingly concerned. Ashley takes Shane to an island away from the city, where she tries to seduce him and asks him to kiss her. They start kissing, but then she bites his tongue. Shane pulls back, asking her what's wrong with her. Meanwhile, Tanya receives a call from the school notifying her that Ashley has not come to school. Worried, Tanya immediately returns home looking for Ashley and hears footsteps from upstairs. She goes to Ashley's room but finds no one there. However, the room is stinking. Later, Ashley returns home and goes straight to her room. Tanya follows her to talk to her but is shocked to see that Ashley's mouth is stained with blood. Meanwhile, we see Michael watching Ashley's photo and only then John comes there. Here Michael shares some of his heart's feelings with John and says that he wants to destroy the darkness and make it right for all those souls that he has failed, and John says he will help him with that. On the other hand, the doctor tells Tanya that Ashley is fine and it was just a nosebleed, and he has left her in the care of an on-call psychiatrist, Dr. Lyles, and she can go see her. Dr. Lyles tells Tanya that she is going to prescribe an antidepressant that she wants Ashley to take for a few weeks, and she is also going to prescribe a sedative to help her sleep. The next night, Hannah comes to Ashley's house to meet her since Ashley was not responding to her calls and texts. However, when she sees Ashley at her window with a demon behind her, she gets terrified and runs away. While Hannah is on her way back home, she receives a text from Ashley, and suddenly a car hits her, resulting in her death in the accident. Later, Tanya comes to Ashley's room to check on her, where she hears her name being called in the EVP app on Ashley's phone. As she turns off the phone, Ashley suddenly wakes up, but then goes back to sleep. Tanya finds Ashley's behavior very strange, so she searches for information about the side effects of antidepressants, and lost in her thoughts, she eventually falls asleep on the couch. The next day, Tanya takes Ashley to the church, where Ashley continues to behave very strangely. She starts repeating John's words in a demonic voice and limps towards him, screaming that she thirsts for the Apostles' Creed and will feast on her soul, and then, she collapses to the floor. While Tanya is taking Ashley to the hospital, Michael requests her to leave Ashley with him as he can help her. He explains that her soul is in jeopardy, and mentions that what happened to Sarah is happening again. However, Tanya asserts that she left Sarah, but she won't let the same happen to Ashley. Later, John asks Michael about what they are up against. Michael, having encountered significant evil and witnessed real demonic possession, expresses having lost loved ones to darkness. Despite fighting relentlessly, he has suffered unimaginable losses that have deeply shaken his faith and self-belief. John says he wants to help any way he can, to which Michael says that the greatest weapon they have against the demon lies within his name, but he believes this one has been invited in, like Ashley's mother's case, so he won't give up his name so easily. He asks John to grab as many books as he can on possession and name demonic entities, as he is going to give him a crash course in performing an exorcism. He explains the 3 demonic stages of possession to John. The first, infestation, involves the demon being active in space, indicated by signs like moving objects, whispering, and putrid smells. The second stage, oppression, occurs when the demon focuses on a specific individual, often taking the form of a loved one to gain trust, and the final stage, possession, occurs when a person willingly invites the demon in, giving it complete control. The doctor then visits Tanya to check on Ashley and informs Tanya that Hannah died in an accident. He then goes to see Ashley, and after a while, John and Michael also visit Tanya. John explains to her that this is more than she can handle on her own. She says she doesn't know what to do, and only then they hear a demonic snarling from Ashley's room. We then see that the doctor has been killed, and Michael and John get shocked to see Ashley's condition. Without wasting a moment, they spring into action, hastily preparing for an exorcism, and the demon cryptically reveals that Ashley's soul is now under its possession. Just then Tanya enters the room and gets terrified seeing Ashley, and the demon remarks that Tanya didn't believe her. Michael asks John to get Tanya out of there, and they need to be alone with the demon. He then tells John that the only chance they have of learning the demon's name is to get her back to holy ground after she is sedated. John approaches Ashley cautiously, but the demon's tricks terrify him. However, both he and Michael successfully inject her with the sedative, causing her to gradually lose consciousness. They then bring her to the church and tie her to a chair, while the demon keeps chanting something in Latin. Michael then begins reading prayers and tries to cast the demon away, but the demon, who has now completely possessed Ashley, even holy water has no effect on him. Michael persists with the exorcism, but the demon continues to mockingly laugh, claiming to be God. Michael challenges the demon, calling it a coward hiding behind a girl, and commands it to reveal its name. The demon insists Michael is mistaken, asserting that Ashley invited it in. Michael instructs John to fetch the book, and as Michael presses the demon for its name, John notices his nose bleeding. Michael then places a crucifix on Ashley's forehead, enraging the demon and prompting it to free itself. Michael throws holy water on Ashley, causing the demon to fall backwards screaming, as darkness envelops the room. Now when they light the candles, the demon gets up and begins to climb the wall, and when they approach it, he says he is the Lord, and he will not fail to punish their children and grandchildren for the sins of their parents. Michael rebukes the demon again, commanding it to reveal its name. However, the demon jumps down, causing Ashley's bone to break. The demon then breaks Michael's hand and escapes from the scene. Mistaking the demon for Ashley, Tanya goes after it, and the demon, using Ashley's voice, asks Tanya for help. Tanya assists her, reassuring her that everything is okay, but the demon suddenly attacks Tanya. John and Michael arrive to aid Tanya, and Michael instructs John to take Ashley back to the church. When Michael and Tanya return to the church, they are shocked to find the demon has killed John and is mockingly laughing at them. The next day, Tanya calls Jordan and tells her that she needs to come home. Michael then comes out and tells Tanya that she should not be here, but she says she is not going anywhere. Michael then brings her to the basement, where along with Ashley, many other possessed people were kept imprisoned, and Tanya is shocked to know that her sister Sarah is still alive and imprisoned there. Thanks for joining us on our horror movie recap adventure. If you enjoyed the chills, subscribing would mean a lot. Drop a comment to share your thoughts and keep the terror alive. Stay spooky and see you soon.